Well, hello there folks. If you are looking to save money on groceries and looking for easy meal ideas, you are in the right place. I did a video just last week, which I will link up here and down below, which is all about how you can save money on your grocery bill and make things easier for yourself in 2025. But in that very same vein, one of my biggest tips is always to have a meal plan and to build that meal plan based on things that you have so you're not wasting food. So today we're back at work and I need a game plan for the week ahead. We have had a lot of yummy food to eat over the holiday period. The meal plan, I talked about it in a previous video, but I did a really high level big bones meal plan, which was basically the key meals for when we were hosting. And then I had just some really simple ideas like salads, toasties, other things for kind of those in-between days when it was just my husband and I. But today we need a new game plan and I want to spend as little as possible. In fact, I don't want to go to the grocery store at all this week if I can avoid it. So let's go have a look what I am working with. Okay, so let's have a little look-see here in the fridge and see what we're working with. So I have my yogurt here. I need to make some more of that. Got plenty of hummus, got a bit of lemon. Then we've got some eggs and I've got some apricots and pineapple here. So I might just have that with yogurt for desserts a few times this week. Got some of my chia pudding. I've made this in a previous video, which I will link below. And I have this one here. So tofu is a really budget-friendly alternative. And if you've never made tofu before, I am going to cook up a recipe today that I think you'll really like. If you're not a huge tofu fan, bear with me. And down here we've got some, I've got some ham. So we might do some easy, just ham, cheese and tomato toasties. In here I've got some pepperonis. We made pizzas the other day, so definitely could do some like sandwich action there. This is a big tub of my quinoa salad that I really like to make here on the channel. And finally in here, shush fridge, it beeps at me when it gets angry. Here we have lots of mushroom left over from pizzas. Got some tomato, got some capsicum, my little harvest from yesterday from my gardens. There's a Roma tomato and a couple of green beans. Got celery, iceberg lettuce, and what else do I have? Half a tomato. Yeah, so toasties definitely on the menu, I think. All right, and let's have a look in the freezer to see what we're working with. So my bread bin, this is a mix of gluten-free bread and glutinous bread, so we're good for bread this week. Got a couple of things in here. I bought this chicken mince on clearance. I think I'm going to cook up the some peanut noodle with chicken mince. Got some salmon, we may use that. I've got some chicken drumsticks here and chicken thigh fillets. Okay, so we've got a fair bit of chicken, and in here I've got a big unopened bag of mixed vegetables. Got some fruit over here for smoothies, got some spinach. What else do we have? Blueberry and peas. Okay, so we've got a fair bit of frozen veg, that's good. All right, and down here I've got my noodles. So I've got a fair bit of rice noodle actually, and then I've got spaghetti and two different kinds of pasta. This I picked up in a budget grocery haul not long ago, so I'll link that video below if you're interested. But we've got these rice noodles, so yeah, I definitely see that peanut chicken noodle dish in our future. And finally, let's have a look on the canned goods shelf up here. So I've got plenty of diced tomato, but I don't think I'm going to do anything with that this week. Got more olives, coconut milk. I use this for chia pudding. Some peas. Oh, we've got some tuna. So maybe like a tuna pasta salad might work really well. Got pasta sauce, but it's going to be really hot this week. And I've got a bunch of soup back there. So yeah, I reckon maybe something with the tuna. So now that we've taken stock, all we're going to do is come up with a really simple meal plan. And if you've watched my channel before, you'd already know this, but there is a free printable list that you can download via that link in the description box below for a nicer looking version of this. But all I do is I put my lunches, my dinners, and my 7 days of the week. Of course, you can meal plan for more than 7 days is what you prefer to do, but to get back on track in the new year, I think 7 days is a pretty good idea. So we only meal plan for lunches and dinners because we almost always do intermittent fasting in the morning. If you don't know what intermittent fasting is, it's basically where you eat in a condensed window. Feel free to Google it. Google is your friend, it can tell you all about it. Okay, so let's make a game plan. So I know that I have stuff for fried rice. I have tofu, I have white rice, I have the frozen veg, I have plenty of mushroom. I know that I have onions, so I can make something with fried rice. And what I try to do, by the way, to keep it healthy is that I up the vegetable ratio and I make a little bit less rice ratio. But I'm gonna cook this recipe up for you here and teach you how to use tofu if you're not used to that. So 3 of our dinners this week is going to be fried rice. Okay, so that is 3 out of my 7 dinners taken care of. Then we're gonna do that chicken peanut noodle. I cooked that up in a previous video, which I will link below. It was delicious. So that is going to make probably 2 dinners. So let me add that to my list as well. So we're starting to take shape here. I've got 3 serves of fried rice for dinner, and I've got peanut noodle with that chicken mince. So all of a sudden, I only need 2 more dinners this week. All right, so in addition to the dinners I've already got, I am going to use some of those salmon portions that I had in the freezer. So I'm just gonna do salmon with either potatoes, which I have some potatoes, or I might do a salad, something like that. So salmon will be dinner one night, and then one night we're actually gonna be going out to dinner. So there are all my dinners for the week taken care of. I know eating out is technically cheating a little bit, I guess, but if it's a cold night, which we often get here in Melbourne where I live, we get really hot days in the summertime and then it can be a really cool day. So if we don't want to eat out, we could also just do some soup or something simple. Now let's think about lunches. All right, so you saw that I had quite a bit of salad stuff in the fridge, and we quite like salads in this house. So I'm gonna make definitely all the lunches for the work week. I'm gonna do salad. So we're gonna do a tuna salad because I had a bit of tuna. So we're gonna do tuna salad for 2 days, which will be really nice and protein rich. And then to mix it up a little bit, oh, I had that chicken fillet. I'm gonna save my chicken thighs and my chicken drumsticks for another week because that way I have another protein I can use. And we're doing chicken peanut noodle mince, so that's fine. Okay, and then maybe I'll do just a simple pasta salad with some lettuce, some pasta, some eggs. So I've got some pasta to use up. So we'll do pasta salad for 2 days. And that means that I have 3 more lunches that I need to fill here on my little list. So I've got 2 tuna salads, 2 pasta salads. Actually, let's do 3 pasta salads. I'm pretty sure I can vary the pasta salad up a little bit with different ingredients. I've also got some avocados in my fruit bowl that are not quite soft yet, but towards the end of the week, they'll probably be good and they'll be really nice in a salad. And then on the weekend, because we like eggs in this household, we quite often do like an omelette, and I have that mushroom as well. So I could vary up and do 2 different types of omelettes for lunches. So that is essentially my entire top level plan for the week. The great thing about this is not only do I not have to go to the grocery store this week, all these items to make these things I already have in my fridge, freezer and pantry. So I'm really, really grateful to have that all on hand. And I did a really big pre-holiday grocery haul as well, which I will link down below as well as up here if you want to check that out. But essentially this is the best way to save money on groceries in 2025. Keep meal planning, be prepared. Obviously meal plan for snacks as well if that is something in your house. Almost always I do like chia pudding, fruit, peanut butter and celery. I'll probably do a little bit this week for my snacks. But essentially that's how simple it can be to meal plan. Now I am gonna show you how to make my famous, not so famous, very, very simple fried rice. And I'm also gonna be answering some of your commonly asked questions here on the channel. All right, so it's time to cook up our fried rice. So up here I have 1.5 cups of plain white rice that I have boiled and let cool. Probably cooked this probably 2-3 hours ago now, and I boiled it up with some chicken stock in, so that's why it's got a little bit of that yellow color. And it's a really good hack for fried rice and other things to just give your rice a bit more flavor. We're going to use about 6 eggs, and then we've got a whole big pack of mushroom. I'm probably going to use about half of this packet of any vegetable that you like. I've also got some leftover capsicum. We did pizzas the other night, so I'm going to use up the rest of the capsicum, and some green beans from my own garden. Now this veggie mix has green beans in it, but I want to use these up as well. And the core of this dish, other than some oils and other things as well, is this tofu here. So we're going to start by preparing the tofu, and I was not a huge fan of tofu until I found this oven roasted recipe I'm going to show you today. So we're going to start by getting some of the moisture out of this and get prepping our dinners. So this tofu here is just the Aldi brand, so we're going to open this up, cut it in half, and then try and get as much moisture as we can out of it. And that is literally all you have to do. This is the fry pan that I'm going to use to cook up my fried rice. But all we're doing, you can use, you know, cloth, you know, kitchen towel, something else if you don't want to use paper towel. But you're just going to leave that under a little bit of a weight. And what this will do, it will absorb some of that other liquid that we saw that I already poured out. And we're going to leave this for about, I normally leave it for about 10 or 15 minutes while I get my other things prepped. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes now, and this paper towel is very damp, and the one underneath even more so. So this is really good because we've now gotten a lot of moisture out. It's still a little bit damp, which is totally fine, but we've got a lot of the moisture out of it, and I find that this is usually enough to now shred it up and coat it with some seasoning. So when it comes to seasoning, I'm going to be keeping this one pretty simple. We're going to do some salt and pepper. We're going to use some corn flour. You could use cornstarch, you could use something else, but this is really just to sort of coat them a little bit and make them nice and brown in the oven. We're going to use some garlic powder. You could use some onion powder as well, and I'm going to be using some chili just for a little bit of a kick. Oh, and I forget, we're going to use some kind of oil as well, but you want to be very gentle with the oil. You don't want to overdo it for this one. Now you might be wondering why I'm not cutting the tofu but rather shredding it, and you can definitely cut it in cubes. That's what I used to do, but this is actually better because when you shred it, it gets this sort of uneven surface, and it helps coat the tofu a little bit better, I find, with seasoning and spices. All right, and here is our coated tofu. You could put other oil, you could put whatever spices you want, but I'm gonna do it about this way because when I cook up my rice, I'll have some more seasonings as well. So this is gonna go in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes until it looks nice and brown and crisp. Okay, so that's in the oven now, and we're gonna start by cooking up the fried rice. So here we've got some sesame oil, olive oil, and gluten-free soy sauce. I'm also going to be using pretty much the same seasonings I had before. Remember that soy sauce is pretty salty, so go a little bit easy on the salt. And if you, like me, cooked your rice up with some stock cubes or broth, that also has some salt in it. So be a bit careful with your salt levels. And then we've got about half of the packet of mushroom. I've got my green beans from my garden. I've got a small brown onion, some frozen veg that's been sitting out sort of half thawed. But we are going to start by scrambling up my 6 eggs. I'm going to use the same bowl as I used for the tofu, why dirty more dishes. And let's get cooking. So while I'm cooking this up, I wanted to answer some of your questions that you've been asking here in the channel over the past sort of year. And a common question that comes up is, how did you end up in Australia? So for those of you who don't know, I was born and raised in Sweden, where most of my immediate family still live. My family has been out visiting here in Australia quite a few times by now. But long story short, I have always loved traveling and exploring. Ever since I was 18, I've traveled around the world a lot. And in 2010, I was living in the UK up in Manchester, and I'd lived there for quite a few years. A good friend of mine lost her job sadly, and she was going to go travel around the world for a year, and she said, would you like to come? I'm going to stop by in Australia and a few other countries if you would like to come. So we booked an around the world ticket, and I ended up staying in Australia. When we got here, I really enjoyed the country. I got offered a job, and so that was early 2010, and we're into early 2015 now, so I'm about to clock 15 years living in Australia. I love it over here. It is a little bit hard sometimes to be far away from family, but overall I absolutely love it. Another question you guys had in the comment section of the channel is what I do for work, and I actually work, my main job is in marketing and communications, which I have been doing for a really long time, but I have worked with a lot of different types of jobs in project management and other things as well, but marketing and communications is my main background, but as you can tell, I do like creating content, filming and all sorts of other things as well. Someone was also asking in the comment section if I have or if I use an air fryer, and the short answer is I don't, because I have a turbo oven, which you would have seen in my past videos where I cook up chicken, etc. And a turbo oven or a convection oven is essentially kind of the same thing as an air fryer. So because I already have one, I have not purchased an air fryer yet, but I am going to do a video in the not too distant future where I will feature my favorite kitchen tools that I use all the time. So look out for that video. And there we have our tasty tofu. This is golden brown. It smells amazing. And if you've never cooked this kind of tofu before, I would highly recommend that you give it a go. And you can see how like they're a bit hot, but they're perfectly coated with that corn flour that we use. And like I said, you can use other things if you prefer as well. And here is the fried rice itself. So I'm gonna put this in meal prep containers for the week, and this is going to be reheated, so you definitely don't want to overcook it because you'll be heating it up during the week. And I'll show you my favorite way of serving up this fried rice. And here is our fried rice all portioned out. These here are individual serves, quite generous individual serves. So I've got 4 decent served portions, and this is a double portion that will easily feed my husband and I for dinner. And all I do is portion the fried rice with veg out, and on top I put some of that beautiful golden crunchy tofu, and this will still be really tasty when reheated. And once reheated, I often serve mine with a little sprinkle of sesame seeds. It's one of my favorites. You could add any chili, hot sauce, or anything like that that you like. This has a little bit of a kick from the chili powder, so it doesn't really need a lot more, but my husband will often put a little bit of hot sauce on. But there we go, we've got dinner for 3 days, cooked up very quickly. So let me know down in the comments below if you've made this type of tofu recipe before, or if you're gonna try it after watching today's video. It is super simple, very affordable, and tofu lasts a really long time in your fridge. But thanks for hanging out with me. I hope that you're setting some really good goals for yourself for 2025, whether it's to save money on groceries, eat out a little bit less, bring your lunch to work more often. And remember, it's progress over perfection. You do not have to get all this super right the first time. But if you are new-ish to meal planning, or you're looking to level up your meal planning game, please do go ahead and download that very free printable meal planning tool that I've got for you down below. And as always, let me know in the comments section if there are particular videos you would like me to make. I've got lots of ideas, grocery hauls and things coming your way in 2025, but I love you guys and your feedback in this community, so please let me know below. I'll see you in the next video.